veil kind of drop over me.
It can hit anybody at any time in their life.
Some nights I'm just crying all the time because I just can't seem to get things done anymore.
Some days I'll wake up and I'll just lay there and I'll think, I don't care.
I hated myself. I wanted to seriously end my life.
If you or someone you love has ever been touched by depression, watch The Next Open.
Wednesday at 4 on 21 Alive.
Overprotective mom or child abuser on The Next Maury.
Thank you for joining us. We are doing something special this week. We are showing some of our best shows. And on Friday, you're going to find out what happened to the guests from those shows. On today's show, the pain that our guests are going through could happen to your own family. Please watch. All of our guests today share the same heartache. These people are fighting for the right to love and be a part of a child's life. They are parents, grandparents, and innocent children who are caught in the middle of a vicious family feud. Please meet Pauline, and this is her husband, Bill. Pauline says that the happiest day of her life was the day when her granddaughter, Alex, was born. But the joy was destroyed when Pauline's daughter and her son-in-law announced that Pauline and her husband could never see the granddaughter, Alex, again. Pauline, your daughter, Robin, and your son-in-law, Mark, are backstage, and they have your granddaughter, Alex, and we are going to talk with them in just a few minutes. First, how long has it been since you've seen Alex?
Oh, we saw her for about 15 minutes in a food store about 2 weeks ago.
How did that come about?
Bill and I...
Just coincidence, actually.
Yeah, we just went in the same store, and my husband said that he saw Mark down the aisle, and we went 2 or 3 more aisles, and we saw that my daughter and the baby was there.
And you hadn't seen them in a while, right?
Yes.
Go back at the very beginning. You have a daughter named Robin.
Robin.
And when she's still pretty young, isn't she?
Yes, Robin's 23. She met this guy named Mark, and it was kind of a fast romance, and they wanted to get married. We weren't too sure about this marriage. We weren't too sure for the fact that Robin was too young, too immature. Mark is older than Robin. We could see some signs on both of them that it was not going to be a good marriage.
How much older is he?
I think he's about 35 or whatever he says he is. We're not sure.
We're not sure.
You don't know how old?
We're not sure how many times he's been married, how old he is. You know, he claims one thing, and see, both of them, we don't think tell the truth too much. We know our daughter doesn't.
Really? You know your daughter doesn't?
The problem is as much with our daughter as it is with him.
So he's at least 15, maybe 20 years older than
Maybe, yeah.
The problem lies with that. They did have a rocky marriage at the beginning. She came home right after she was married. It went back and forth. It was off and on. Finally, they came to us and said that Robin was pregnant. And we knew it was going to be difficult, but because of the baby, we would weather the storm. We went the 9 months, and to believe it or not, we were all very good friends, and we went through the 9 months with her. We took Robin to the hospital the day before the baby was born. She had to go in to have induced labor. She was late. That night we stayed with her. Then her husband came late, and the next day we were there all day and all night. And I guess it was about 10 o'clock, Mark came out to tell us that they were going to do a C-section, and Robin was having a hard time, and that I could go in and I could see her. And I went into the labor room, and I said to her, it's just going to be a little while longer, and it's going to be okay, and we'll have this baby. And it was about 1 o'clock. Mark came down the hospital aisle with this little bassinet, and there was Alex, and she looked just like Robin. I mean, if you're not a grandmother, you can't imagine what that day is like to see that little baby and to hold her. And we were very lucky. The hospital Robin was in, the next day we could bond with this baby. So 24 hours later, we could go in the room and actually hold her and feel her and not have to look behind a glass. So it was very important for us to be there. And at that time...
Now, when the baby was born, how long had they been married?
Approximately about a year.
Around a year.
Yeah, they were so off and on that we're not sure dates.
The marriage was off.
Very rocky.
The marriage was off, the marriage was on, the marriage was off.
Yes.
And when
it has been up until the last couple of months. Actually, she's only recently gone back with him again.
Yeah.
So that you took care of her when the marriage was off.
Yes, Robin came to live with us, and she took care of us.
Now the baby is born.
Baby is born. About a week later, I went to Robin's. I brought her home from the hospital with the baby to their apartment. A couple days later, I went, and I could see that Robin was feeling very tired, very anxious, and I said to her, this is very difficult with a new baby, and you had a C-section. Come home. by us, and I'll take care of you till you get on your feet and you can sleep. During the day, I'll take care of the baby. At night, you get up and bond with her. Well, she did. And Mark would come, and when they came, they would have words, and they would argue, and he would leave, and Robin would cry. And we said, it's just that period of adjustment right now with this new baby, and things will be okay. Robin decided after a while she would go home. She went home with the baby. They lived in one apartment. Things weren't working well. He moved then the baby and Robin to his father's house. His father owns a multi-family home. They tried it there. Things didn't work. They were back and forth with this baby. Finally, Robin made the decision to come home for good. We picked her up with everything that she could get together, and we took her home with us. Robin stayed with us approximately 9 months. During that time, we financially and physically took care of Robin and this baby.
So you have the baby from birth to 9 months, and you're bonding with the baby and how are you getting along with your daughter? Well?
Things are okay. Robin was young, of course. I've learned now that I've made this mistake. I'm an over-loving, over-caring mother. I guess that gets you in trouble. And I tried to help her with the baby, and Robin was a very good mother. That baby was young, and Bill used to say to her all the time, Robin, we're proud of you, you're doing a good job. And it was hard. Robin's a young girl. Then months went on, and you could see that she would visit with her husband. They would come, they would fight, they would meet at the mall, and things weren't going good. Then it finally got to the point that you have 2 moms in one house and 1 baby, 2 ladies in 1 kitchen, and you know, and sometimes it doesn't work. We are in the process of moving to a townhouse, and we said, Robin, maybe this is a good idea if you go into your own apartment and you raise this baby your way, and we come to visit and everything will be better, and you have to have your own self-esteem. We were able to find Robin housing through our housing authority. And I'll be honest, it was not the greatest apartment, and they will tell you it was probably horrible, but it's a place for her to have, yes, but she would have self-esteem, and she could have her own apartment and have her own baby, and I would back off, but it didn't work. Robin would call, and I'd be there every day, and it was the 9 months Robin lived with us, she was my best friend. Robin never went anywhere without Mommy. Robin never went anywhere without Bill. We were a family. We were holidays. The first Christmas, he didn't want to know anything about this baby. 9 o'clock at night, Robin and I were doing 100 miles an hour on the highway looking for that perfect dress for Christmas Day. We got her through everything. We shopped for her for the baby, made their holiday the best we could. We felt bad for her. And at one point, I honestly have to say I felt bad for Mark. He doesn't have a family. He has no mother. And I thought maybe this was the problem. But the more you befriend them, the more they just give it to you. So when she finally went into her own apartment, it was Mom helped me with curtains, and Bill and I furnished everything for them, gave them all the furniture, her and the baby. We brought the crib from our house because at the point when Robin lived with us, Mark would not relinquish the baby's bed. We pleaded. We gave her a pickup truck. She said, today's the day, Ma. He's going to give me the baby's bed. We came home, and she sat there crying. I said, what's the matter? I said the wrong thing, and now he won't give me the bed. And Bill said, that's okay. We'll go and buy a bed. We bought the baby a crib. Months went on, holidays came. We tried to stay out of it. Easter came, and she said, Mom, I know this is hard for you, but Mark's going to come for Easter. Can he come? I said to Bill, in my heart, I'm not sure, but there's a baby involved. We have a table. We welcome in our home. He came in. We said, okay, Mark, it's good to see you. Have dinner with us. We tried so many times to work it out for them, yet they insist that I'm the problem, I'm interfering. I interfere when I know my daughter is in jeopardy. I think she's going to be hurt when my granddaughter is. I don't like the fact that I know that they have physical problems.
What happened at the point where they said they don't want you to see, either of you to see the grandchild again?
When I noticed that there were problems, physical problems. Robin would tell me problems with drugs. Robin would tell me, Ma, that he hit me. I don't want to go back there and live. I want to stay with you. When she went into her own apartment, he started coming back for visitation. It got to be where the police were called all the time. She was saying he was harassing me. She could never make it to the end of the month financially. Finally, one week we said to her, Robin, we need your help now. We have to go away one weekend, and we'd like you to stay with your brother. Come and stay with the baby at our house and do whatever you have to do. This was Halloween weekend. She said, okay. We called, and she went to visit Mark on that Saturday with the baby in the mall, and she told us that night that things were going to be better, that they would probably try to work it out. The next thing we know was we got a phone call to come home as an emergency that Robin was in jail. And Robin had been out and went over to the apartment, and when she got there, Mark was there with a girlfriend, and Robin became very upset. She believed in these things that he told her during the day. My sister was called because we were out of state to pick up the baby from jail and take the baby home, and Robin stayed, and the next day she was let out on bail. She became very angry, and 3 days later, I went to visit her, and she said to me, "Be quiet, don't say anything, Mark's in the bedroom sleeping."
They gotten back together.
Yes.
When did they announce to you that they didn't want you to see your grandchild again?
After the baby's first birthday.
Then you were told. That's how long ago since you've been...
The baby was 1 November 4th.
Okay. So in a couple of months, you haven't seen your grandchild.
Right, we've tried. Once.
Believe it or
just
not,
in the mall.
Believe it or not,
No.
our daughter called us approximately 3-4 weeks ago from the highway on Route 1 in New Jersey and said, "Come get the baby. I'm leaving him. I'm going to get my own apartment. Watch the baby for me." We went, we picked the baby up on the highway. Within 24 hours, she was back with him, and he wouldn't let us see the baby again.
How do you feel about not being part of your granddaughter's life?
If you're not a grandmother, you know, it's very difficult. You have to first experience the fact of seeing that baby. You have children and you teach them and you grow with them, but the minute you see that baby, your life changes. My daughter has not realized that, number one, she hasn't had her mother. I lost my mother when I was young. There's days that you need to talk to that mother. There's days that, you know, when Robin came home, we went shopping one time, and I hugged her and kissed her, and I said, "I'm sorry things didn't work, Robin, in your marriage, but, you know, I missed you." We went shopping, you're my best friend, and we would sit together and hold this baby and look at her, and I said, "She looks like you," and I would tell her, "Robin, you'll meet somebody that's going to treat you good, and that baby good, and it'll work out, you know, I promise you." And I said, "You don't know, Robin, what this does for us. This is our grandbaby, and this is Bill's. Robin is not Bill's natural daughter. This is his stepdaughter, and this is his grandbaby. All this that's gone on in our life is he's done for this girl and this grandbaby. But she doesn't know yet. She has that baby, and she holds her and hugs her every day. She doesn't know what we miss. You know, that you got to see that baby. You know, when it happens to you, you're going to know when you see that baby and say, that's my granddaughter, you know, and you want to love her and hug her, and then all of a sudden, somebody takes her from you, and Robin knows in her heart how we love that baby."
You know, Sally, the problem is not us. I mean, anybody could say that. But you see, he's very controlled over her, okay? He's very old world. He wants to be in charge. He's got a macho image. You'll see. You'll see what it's like.
Then let me see. When we come back, Pauline's daughter and son-in-law will tell us why they refused to let their daughter, Alex, see her own grandparents. Please stay with us.
Other glass cleaners are for the birds because they can leave streaks, but Spick and Span Cinch gets windows so clean you may not even know they're there. And you don't need a separate cleaner to get grease because Cinch replaces both. It's not clean till you clean with Spick and Span.
And now a quintile analysis of urban soybean consumption. Now these numbers are self-explanatory, so let me explain them. Everyone still with me? Good.
When you want to sneak out for a quick bite, try the Pizza Hut Lunch Buffet with 6 delicious different pizzas every day. Crispy salad, breadsticks, pasta.
Here's a little number you'll enjoy.
All for $3.99, and you'll be back before you know it.
Now in 1940...
Sometimes you just gotta stop and smell the pizza.
I don't think I could shop anyplace else and save the amount of money that I save at Scott's.
Scott's has a barbecue favorite on sale, just in time for Labor Day. Fresh grade A boneless chicken breasts are just $1.99 a pound.
People pleasers.
You'll love the savings on all varieties of Seifert's potato chips. They're great for picnics. Get 3 for only $5.
Scott's, we're your store.
on the next Entertainment Tonight. Just when you thought you couldn't get enough of the 6'3" blue-eyed hunk, Fabio makes his move to TV.
I need some more challenge. I need some more stimulation.
E.T. gives you an exclusive first look at Fabio's television acting debut. Then she's no longer just for kids.
I have well over 1,000.
They're women and men from around the world coming together to honor America's most popular doll. Catch Barbie Mania on the next Entertainment Tonight.
Wednesday at 6:30 on 21 Alive.
We've been talking to Pauline and her husband Bill, and they say their lives are really shattered because their daughter Robin refuses to let them see their granddaughter Alex that they've bonded with over 9 months. Now meet Pauline's daughter Robin and Pauline's son-in-law, Robin's husband, Mark. They've been listening to us, right? And Robin says she has no other choice than to keep her daughter away from her mother because she says Pauline, quote, is not emotionally fit to take care of Alex. Robin, why don't you want to let your mother and your stepfather see the grandchild?
First of all, it's not forever. I never said that you couldn't see her forever.
Okay.
Just right now, obviously, my mom doesn't like Mark. And we were separated for a while. We just recently got back together. And I know she's not happy with that. You know, that's fine. But basically right now what I have to do is I need some time to work out my marriage. And Mark lost 11 months with my daughter. He didn't see her basically at all.
For 11 months?
Right, because we were separated. So he needs to get a relationship with her. And my mom doesn't stay out of like our business. She just...
Very pushy.
She just doesn't stay out. She causes trouble. She makes, you know, remarks.
What kind of trouble does she cause, Mark?
Well, she's seen my daughter, I don't know, I think it was like a month and a half ago, something like that. And the next day she seen my daughter, she went and called DIFUS. Now,
No, we didn't call DIFUS.
Excuse me, you had your turn. Let me run this.
Pardon us, what's DIFUS?
DIFUS is, they check into the well-being of your child, you know, if you're abusing her or neglecting her. Now, DIFUS came to my house, and they checked my whole house. They checked, I bring them through my clothes, the baby's clothes, refrigerator, food, diapers, everything that you could possibly want for an infant. She had everything, okay? The woman then returned another time, okay? They don't announce their visits, they just come in, you know. And the woman came in another time and stated that she wanted some further information. I let her look through the house again, okay? And she said she's closing the case, that...
Pauline, did you call DIFUS?
The first time, yes, I did.
Why?
Because Robin was separated from her husband, and things were not going good with the baby.
Like what?
Well, Robin was living in places that were unfit for the baby. We were worried about. We were told that the baby was taken out when the baby was sick.
Where did you get this information from?
People that Robin was living, when she left her husband, she was living with a friend, and this friend would call us and tell us that the baby wasn't being cared for.
I didn't live with anyone. I have an ex-friend. We're not friends anymore. Yvonne, that we were friends, and the reason why we became friends was we're around the same age, and she's got 3 children. I have a daughter, and we kind of had a good relationship because we can see eye to eye. She didn't have a very good relationship with her husband, and I was separated from Mark, so we bonded. When I went back with Mark, she got very jealous, and she felt very left out.
Oh, so she told
got
stories
very bitter.
to the mother.
Misery likes company.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that she lied from everything, but from a little story she grew, she made something huge and
This
humongous.
girl was under the impression that this child was not being taken care of properly. That's why she called us. That's why we got in contact with her. We were also informed that the baby was living in a motel on Route 1 with her while she was separated with her husband. When I approached Mark on what Robin did when Robin was not with him, he said, there's nothing I can do when she's not with me, which is true to an extent. But this is why we were worried about the baby. And I don't think it's any reason for us not to be able to see this baby, regardless if they're having problems or not.
Okay,
we want to see the baby. That's it. We don't care if they kill each
We
other.
don't care what they do. We've learned that. We don't care what they do.
Excuse me, for someone who doesn't care what I do, you've been in my life for the last 4 years, instigating
This
constantly.
is my daughter.
Okay, well, that's my daughter.
This is my daughter, and
Okay,
before you
that's
had that
right.
baby,
You're absolutely
you've
right.
never had her
You've had her
without my
right.
daughter.
Okay, you had your
her.
daughter. Okay, your daughter. Now, doesn't that tell you something? Your daughter doesn't want her to see the baby. I mean, doesn't that tell you that there's something wrong
Why,
if your
Robin?
own flesh and blood doesn't want you to see
Yeah,
it?
but Robin, for 9 months, you were my best friend, and when things were bad and you wanted to come home, you came to
Pauline,
Mommy.
how were you our best friend before we got married? You turned around 3 days before the wedding and said, well, guess what? You're screwed. You got to pay for the wedding. That's best. best friend?
And when the 3 months you lived with us, you had no job.
Excuse me, wait a second. Let's get the facts straight. I did not live with you for 3 months. I lived with you for 3 weeks. 3 weeks.
3 weeks?
No.
And I'll tell you when it was. It was in February, okay? And we moved into the house in March. We moved out, okay? So don't tell me 3 weeks. You can elaborate to everybody else, but not to me.
You can't tell him anything.
Do you work, Mark?
Yes.
Occasionally.
I support my daughter. Okay, let me tell you something. They owe me money. I don't owe them money.
Oh, right.
Okay. What happened is, before we got married, they stiffed me for over $6,000. Okay. Their idea of a wedding. Oh, she was playing like we were getting married, like the Queen of England. You know, like it was a big thing. She was inviting this one, inviting that one, big, you know, luxurious wedding. 3 days before the wedding, guess what? You's got to pay. She calls up on the phone. My wife sat in my kitchen crying hysterically. Then on top of that, she turned around and called everybody related to her and her family, told them not to go because she wanted her real father to walk her down the aisle.
And
that's why her mother pulled out of the wedding. That's how she's concerned about her daughter. She's so concerned. I know. That's why you whacked the biggest day of her life when she was getting married.
4 months later, she was home. How could that have been the biggest day of her life?
She has went to everything.
Because you thought about the wedding. That's what we fight
For the
about.
last 4 years, that's what we've had fights because of her family, because they've done one thing on top of another.
How can you tell me
my family went through the same situation what you're going through right now. And I see it as your daughter, you're there when you need her and everything else.
Right.
But when she doesn't need you, you're no good.
Absolutely.
And you don't want him to see him. It doesn't matter. You just want to control. It's a possession to you. And I don't think you really care about the baby. I really don't.
And let me tell you, this is not as clean as it seems. There's drugs involved in here.
Excuse me, wait a second. Are you saying that I take drugs?
I'm saying that your wife stated.
Are you saying that I take drugs?
I'm saying your wife stated you take drugs.
In court
I'm saying your wife stated it.
Sally's producer has the papers where it's written on a police report.
It's on a police report that he is using. His wife said this. That she fears for her life and the baby's life.
Excuse me.
This is not more than 6 months ago.
Excuse me. Now let me say something. Okay, I don't know. I'm not saying that, you know, we were skipping through the tulips. Since we've been married, her family has done nothing but interfere, aggravate, and torment the situation.
Right.
Now, excuse me, you talk, let me talk. You've had your turn to talk, let me talk. Now, she turned around, okay, yeah, we've had arguments. I'm not saying we haven't. Everybody does, okay? Now, we got in an argument, I don't know what she said, she got in a fight, or she said something. She said to the fact, I don't even know. What did you say?
We were separated, and I was very bitter because he was seeing someone. We were separated.
So what did you do, Robin?
When Mark had come to the house one time, we had a fight, and when we had an argument, I had called the police to come, and I was mad at him. So when I went there, I said that he was doing. I don't think I said he was doing drugs. I said I think he is doing drugs because the way he acted.
But
I did state that.
Was he doing drugs?
But
the person he was hanging around with.
Just to clarify all of this, ma'am. Just to clarify, I told them, I told the court, I told everybody involved that any day of the week they want me to take a blood test, urine test, I will do it, and I will pay for it. I told the court that.
So, Robin, you said he was doing drugs.
Right.
Was he doing drugs?
I don't know. I wasn't with him.
Robin, when you came home and you told us, Mom, I'm tired of him living on and wowed out on the couch, I can't take it anymore.
The reason why he was doing that was because of the wedding.
No, it was after the baby, Robin.
First of all,
it was Easter after the baby.
First of all,
okay, we're gonna see what we think now.
You said that your husband Mark hadn't seen your baby in 11 months. Whose fault is that?
I didn't say he did not see her for 11 months.
He wasn't able to bond with him for 11 months.
You did say that.
Yeah, it was my fault. It was my fault.
The way I stated it was wrong. He did come. No, I'm not saying he came every week. He came every 2 weeks.
And how would you define a family? I mean, is that just 3 people, or can it be more?
It could be as many. I mean, it's not. I'm not saying that I was right. You know, 100%. I'm not. I mean, I'm a human being. I make mistakes also. But we have enough of our own problems. We don't need no added, you know,
we didn't answer
aggravation.
For 9 months,
okay?
Mark,
my daughter, I support my daughter. I pay for my daughter. I don't collect wealth.
When he's around,
I'm not, excuse me. Can I finish talking?
Yeah.
I do all of these things. I don't want anything. If they buy a box of candy, they throw it up in our faces, what they bought for my daughter. I don't want it. I don't need their money, and I don't want their money.
No, Robin was very happy going shopping with me.
I know, Pauline,
for the baby for Christmas.
I know.
When you didn't want to get anything, and
I know,
I would
Pauline.
take her.
Please, sell that story to somebody else.
I think we don't always fall in love with the right people, and I think you're torn between 2 people you love a lot, and he's a lot more dominating and demanding, and if you're guilty of anything, you're guilty of loving them too much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I would just like to say that I come from a family with 4 grandchildren, and I have the best parents, and I also had the best grandparents, and you don't know what you're doing when you don't let them be a part of that child's life, because they can enrich it so much. And
they don't understand.
Excuse me, do you call enriching? Excuse me. My daughter, now, I want to make that point. Before, all right, when we were separated, okay, Robin obviously went out with other people, like, as have I. Her mother would try and have these other people replace me. You call that a family?
No, that's not true.
She came in my house calling me, excuse me, I let you talk, why don't you let me? She turned around and called me somebody she was dating. She called me by his name in my house. I know, that was a mistake. She knows me 4 years. She knew this guy for 3 weeks, and she calls me his name.
Well, Robin was dating him, and she would ask us to babysit
I don't know. I find that a little rough to make a mistake like that. After 4 years, you know me. 3 weeks, you know somebody else call me somebody else's name. I don't think that goes.
Hi, yes. I don't have a question. I just want to say something. It seems to me like you're all persecuting this couple over here. She's my friend, Robin. And I know that they might be having problems. That's the frustration that you see right here from him. He's like overreacting because he's frustrated. I know that.
What's he frustrated about?
He's frustrated because, from what I understand, she's trying to take custody of her grandchild. Wouldn't you be frustrated?
Are you trying to take custody?
Visitation is all we
just
want.
want visitation.
That's funny, Billy. You threatened me over the phone for custody.
It's not a threat.
It is a threat because you ain't getting my daughter.
Wouldn't you be upset if if you can't go to your mother? Let's say you're having problems in your family, and you were to say, "Ma, could you please take care of my child just for a little while I try and straighten things out with my husband?" And then later on, you find out that they call DIFUS, that they want to take custody of your child. Wouldn't you like?
Robin, do you think your mother wants to take custody of your child?
That's what I heard. The probation officer told me, DIFUS told me, and also Billy had said that to Mark over the phone.
Robin, from your heart.
Do you want
Would I take your daughter from you?
Yes.
I would take her away for good?
In a heartbeat.
Why?
Because you have no children between
Let me
you and
explain.
Billy.
We don't want any. We like our life.
Say what you did with her brother. Of going to court for visitation. The judge has awarded us 3 times visitation, supervision on a Saturday. They've not shown up once.
You gotta read your papers. That's 2 times.
3 times, son. They had a makeup. You didn't show up for that either.
We didn't ever show
So anyway,
any
3 times he didn't show up. He claims he has no transportation. Judge said this is no excuse, okay? We went before a court-appointed investigator because of what she said in court. And when we got on telling their background, you haven't even heard all the background, okay? When we got told telling the background, the court investigator said to us, "You people are crazy going for visitation." He believed we should go for custody. I said, we don't want to go for custody. We believe the baby should be raised by our parents.
So at least we got that cleared up. They don't want
It was only what we were told. We are not going for custody. We only want visitation. I'm perfectly willing to leave them alone. I don't want to be involved with them.
Were you granted visitation?
Yes.
What was the problem with it?
He didn't show up.
They don't show up. You can't enforce it. When we come back, a woman who is 9 months pregnant and says grandmother will never see this newborn.
Notice anything unusual about Kellogg's Frosted Bran? Frosted Bran. Contradiction in terms? You see, the fun side of you still wants a sports car. That's the tasty Frosted side. But the sensible side of you is ready for the big wagon. That's the crunchy Bran side. Kellogg's Frosted Bran cereal gives you the best of both. Healthy flakes of bran with a delicious frosting. It's like getting the wagon and keeping the sports car. Frosted keeps you happy, Bran helps keep you healthy. Kellogg's Frosted Bran.
So, have you decided what you're going to do after you finish school?
Yeah, ITT Tech.
I think that'd be good.
You do?
Yeah, I talked with Kevin's mom. She says he loves electronics.
So will I.
She says he'll have his degree in 2 years.
So will I.
She tells people her son was smarter than she thought.
So will you.
Call ITT Technical Institute at 1-800-942-0088 for an informative brochure. 1-800-942-0088.
The emergency in-store warehouse sale continues through Labor Day at Value City Furniture. And we've restocked our showrooms with even more incredible markdown merchandise. Starting only $288, we've loaded our aisles with thousands of luxurious crater sofas in all the latest styles, colors, and fabric. Granite finished bedroom, dresser, mirror, headboard, chest, and 2 nightstands, all 6 pieces, now $777. Fabulous 7-piece dinette, now $299. White vanity and bench, $48. Don't miss the final days of the emergency in-store warehouse sale now through Labor Day at Value City Furniture.
We know this phone can connect you to any law firm in town. But if you've been hurt and use it to call us, what do you get? You get a law firm that concentrates on personal injury law, a firm that knows what it takes to get the money your claim is worth. You get a team of professionals that understands your situation and is good at solving problems. But most of all, you get someone who cares. The Lebemoff Law Offices, making the law work for you every day. Call 423-2581.
A boy is rushed to the hospital. His mother keeps a close watch over him.
He wanted to put a hole in his neck and send him home on a machine.
But is she protecting him, or is she the victim of a bizarre mental illness that may kill him? On the next Maury Povich Show, meet a mother whose child was taken away from her by the justice system.
Key to this case was when the mother was separated from the child, the illness went away.
On the next Maury.
Wednesday at 11 on 21 Alive.
Melissa's 4-year-old son was molested
She had intercourse with my son.
by her sister's 11-year-old daughter.
I don't want another child to have to go through what my child went through.
Next Sally.
We're back talking with grandparents who say they're really devastated because they're not allowed to see their own grandchildren. You know, American grandparents are becoming increasingly vocal about the anger that they're feeling from unfair situations when they arise. Currently, every state does not have a law allowing grandparents to petition for these rights. In fact, laws differ from state to state. Meet Debbie. She says 5 months ago, her son's girlfriend, Lisa, told her she could never see the grandchild, Dylan, again. Debbie says she's been so distraught over this situation, she's really thinking about killing herself. Lisa is here today with her own mother, Kathy, who is obviously Dylan's other grandmother. So we've got the two grandmothers and the mother. We're going to talk with them in a minute. First, Debbie, I know you're in a great deal of pain. Why has it come to this?
I don't know. I want these answers today. I have never been told why I'm unfit to be a grandmother to her children.
Now, it was your son. They weren't married, right? That makes it even more complicated legally.
The first child was born when they were both teenagers.
Right.
We didn't push, Kathy and I did not push them into marriage. But I prayed that when they were old enough that they would choose that.
Lisa, what happened with your relationship with your boyfriend?
It was basically an unhealthy relationship, and I decided that it would be best for me and my children just to get out now.
Is it his child you're 9 months pregnant with?
Yes.
So you're 9 months pregnant and you have another child, Dylan.
Yeah.
And why do you not want his mother to see the baby?
At this point, I feel like any contact with her, because of you know, things that have happened, would create an adverse effect on him. She has a history of child abuse, and that, to me, is very scary.
That's a very strong statement.
Yes.
When you say she has a history of child abuse, what does that mean to you?
When her son was young, he was abused by her, and up until 5 months ago...
Did he tell you that?
Yeah. Yes.
Was it ever proven?
Not legally, I don't believe, but I mean, I don't need proof. I know it's true. She knows it's true. And
is it true, Grandma?
It is not true.
Did your son make up that story?
He did. He did it many times. He likes to...
Debbie, who raised Jesse?
Jesse... Sally asked me a question.
Yeah, answer that.
He liked to have a lot of people pity him.
So he would make up stories
He
like
would
that?
make up these stories.
Have you ever been arrested for child abuse?
Yes, he brought me up on charges, but they were unfounded. He one time told him that I hit him with my car.
So it wasn't proven?
No, no.
Did you ever do it?
No, I would like to.
Question? Question?
No. Debbie, who raised Jesse?
I left my ex-husband when Jesse was 8 months old because my ex-husband was a drug abuser, alcoholic.
And so were you?
No, I am not.
Yes, you were, Debbie.
To me, that doesn't matter. What matters now is I know the abuse is true, and I'm not gonna sit with my child.
You're sure that the grandmother was a child abuser?
I am sure. I've seen her abuse him.
What have you seen her
physically.
do?
There was one incident the day before Christmas Eve last year, we were driving in the car. He was driving. I was in the passenger seat. She was in the seat behind. We pulled up to a four-way stop. I didn't realize that there was anything wrong, but she said he didn't go at his turn, so she slapped him from the back seats. Slapped him because he didn't go when it was his turn. And I've seen her violent temper. I've seen what she's done to me.
What has she done to you?
Up until 5 months ago, I always allowed her to see my son as long as I was present. I brought him to family gatherings. I allowed her to come over and visit anytime she felt she wanted to. Until then, her son and I had split up, and he had some records and a stereo at my house. And she called me up late at night and said, "Can I come over and get them?" And I said, not tonight. It's too late. We're in bed. And she said, "Okay, I'll call about it tomorrow."
Is that not true, Grandma?
I told her I'd be there at 8 a.m. tomorrow morning.
No, I was still sleeping when she called.
Let me ask you why seeing the grandchild is so important to you when we return.
I looked in the mirror and I just went, oh my gosh, I look like a different person. I was huge. I went to Jenny Craig because I needed someone to help me the whole way through. I had a lot of bad habits. Deborah helped me change them one at a time, and I could call her anytime I needed her. I got the help, and I want to just, tell people, don't be afraid to reach out and get that help.
Instead of just another diet, get personal weight management at Jenny Craig, all for just one low program fee. Call Jenny Craig.
Everything in this television spot's at least 50% off comparable retail prices at Value City. World-famous Danae tennis rackets like this Danae Ghost, not $250, only $59.99. Weider Home Fitness Centers, not $300, your choice, only $99.99. And a big selection of famous caboodles organizers like this Triple Treat organizer, not $26, only $12.99. The hottest styles, the most named brands, the biggest selection, and the best values? We've got it at Value City department stores.
It's back to school time at Shastar, and we've made it as easy as ABC to get what you need today. This beautiful 7-piece living room group is only $17.99 a week now at Shastar. This family-size white Westinghouse fridge is just $13.99 a week. And with Shastar, there's never a hassle. You get A, the lowest weekly prices, B, top quality products, and C, free delivery setup and service of what you need today. Look for our flyer in the mail and call 1-800-22-SHASTAR for a store near you. It's as easy as ABC. The back-to-school sale going on now at Shastar.
You can enjoy a great day on the links with the likes of Bob Kuchenberg, Jim Seymour, and Bob Champius during the Easter Seals NFL Legends Golf Outing September 13th at Deer Track Golf Course. I'm Greg Johans, and those are just some of the NFL pros who will captain teams for this one-day 18-hole scramble benefiting the Northeast Indiana Easter Seals Society programs for disabled children and adults. The field is limited, so get yourself or an entire team registered now for this very unique round of golf.
Lisa, I'm going to ask you once again, aside from her bopping her son on the side of the head in the car, is there any other proof you have of child abuse that would keep you from wanting her to see the grandchild? Any other real proof?
I cannot tangibly prove it. I can't prove it, but no, I believe it. I believe it's true. And as long as I believe that, I'm not going to put my kids at risk.
Okay. Why are you so interested in seeing the grandchild? What does it mean to you?
He is part of my life. He is a part of me. My son grew up without his father or his father's family, and it hurt him immeasurably. It hurt him more than I could tell you. I don't want this the same thing that happened to my grandchildren. I want them to know that I do love them and I do care about them.
All right. I'd like you to meet Rosalind. Would you stand up? This is Rosalind Seltzer. Rosalind, tell me what happened with you.
Well, I was unable to see my grandchildren. My grandson will be 5 years old in June, and he was a few months old before I could see him. I was not allowed to come to the hospital to see him when he was born. My son called me to tell me and made it a fact that I was the first one that he told. And I was so excited that this grandchild was an extension of my life, too.
Why won't they let you see the child?
No one has been able to get an explanation. We now have a granddaughter. And I saw my granddaughter one time when she was a month old. There had been 9 months between the time that I saw my grandson and then I saw my granddaughter. And it was, my son called me and said I could come on a Saturday night. And I could not come that night. We had tickets to a show. I had no prior knowledge that I was able to, because there had been 9 months since I saw him. And
he called how much before you were?
That morning.
Okay, you do not know why you're not allowed to see you?
The only explanation that I have been able to get through my ex-husband is that my opinions are not the same as theirs, and I was always under the impression that that's what makes the world go round. And in fact, they don't know what my opinions are because they've never asked me and I've never told them. All I want, and I plead with them, is to let me give the love that I have to these children, because my blood runs through their veins also, and I want to give them what my parents gave to my children.
It's very much a different world, and we're seeing that there are many women like you. Thank you for talking to us. Thank you. Please meet Alida Coleman. Alida is a family therapist and the author of Growing Great Kids. Alida, it seems that going to court should be a last resort.
I think so.
And this is a very typical call that we get from grandparents.
Absolutely,
What's going on here?
Well, I think what's going on here is we have an analogy. It's a divorce war. It's similar to spouses divorcing and using the child in the middle as a pawn to get leverage for power and control, Sally. And what's happening is that the children have unresolved anger and rage and conflict with their relationships with their parents. When they're little, they have no recourse, but now they can sock it to them. They can punish them. This is the supreme way.
They don't, like in this case and hundreds of others, they don't have to tell the parent why they're getting it socked to them. They don't have to say anything. Take a break. We'll be right back.
Before nightfall, 40,000 children will die from hunger and disease. 55 will die before I finish talking.
They're dying because to most of us, they're nameless, faceless masses, too numerous to help. But they each have a name and they can be helped, one by one. If you can set aside 70 cents a day, $21 a month, then please call this number and sponsor a child like Maria. Maria might be a statistic now, if it weren't for Angela Toth, a homemaker from Michigan.
Before Angela sponsored Maria through Christian Children's Fund, the situation was very bad. Maria and her mother were alone and frightened. Maria's father had been kidnapped. And with no source of income, it's pretty tough to get along in this part of the country. But Maria will, thanks to Angela. Now they share pictures, letters, their joys, sadness.
Thousands of children, just as precious as Maria, die every day. Not because people are heartless, but because we feel powerless. How many times have you heard child mortality statistics and thought, the problem's so big, what can I do? You can do plenty. You can pick up the phone and save one child. That's a great feeling. Meet Jose, sponsored by Scott Blevins, a Florida technician.
Jose is just getting over pneumonia, which is usually fatal here. You see, where Jose lives, there's no clean water, no medicine, nothing but poverty. But with Scott's $21 a month, Christian Children's Fund is able to give Jose good food, clean water, warm clothes, and the penicillin that saved his life. The only thing we can't save you from is your schoolwork. Christian Children's Fund can do a lot with your $21.
Remember, Your phone call can make a wonderful difference in the life of a child.
The number for Christian Children's Fund is on your screen. Please call it.
We'll send you the name and photo of a child you can sponsor.
Are you so ashamed of your child that you think about disowning him or her? If so, please call Sally at 1-800-93-SALLY.
Alita, let me ask you a question. Since there have been hundreds of grandparents, usually the woman, but sometimes we've gotten calls from grandfathers, I want to say that say, I can't see my grandchildren and no one will tell me why. And you've explained that the child harbors some kind of resentment against their parents, and they're going to sock it to them. Is the child who doesn't want the grandchild to see the grandparent necessarily right? In other words, I've had children, and I know there are times my kids are furious with me, and I don't know what I did. I mean, are we always wrong? Or is this lady, are we always wrong?
No, you're not always wrong. I think what happens sometimes is that we're so passionate about our love that the anger is also very passionate, Sally. And I think that what happens is that we may be, instead of pulling back and allowing the parent to parent, we may be over-parenting, okay, what we call it over-involvement. The thing to do for grandparents is to keep that door open, to keep the lines of communication open, to be supportive and not judgmental.
But how do you do that if your child says, I don't like your religion, or I don't like you're a Democrat, and you can't see my kid?
I think on the other side, the child has to also realize that their parents are the family historians, the people who can tell their children their past history and culture and pass it on from generation to generation. They don't have the same expectations.
We don't believe in our culture that grandparents are as important as other cultures.
Other cultures do, yes.
We got our grandson in 1984.
Yes.
His mother and her parents would not take care of the child. He was ill.
Right.
We took him into our home 4 years. Loved that child, took care of him, nurtured him. Finally, he went back to his mother. Now she agrees to give us 1 day a month on a Saturday.
That's very sad.
And Mark,
it's very sad.
Feel bad for that lady.
Ma'am.
You didn't have a family. I understand that. Don't break them up.
Ma'am, let me explain something.
Please.
Let me say, may I address her, please? Well, I can't. I got to wait until she stops.
Quickly,
ma'am. This woman's circumstances, I don't know what they are. You know, I mean, obviously, I'm not. She might be a very nice woman, and I'm not saying you shouldn't see your grandchildren. And there's a lot of people that should see their grandchildren. But my particular case is not just a week old. This is 4 years this has been going on. This woman has been in our life. We have not been married yet. We cannot get away from them. You know, we're legally married, but we haven't had a marriage.
All the problems between Mark and I, I'm not saying they did it. It was all my own.
There's no right or wrong. There's no winners or losers. The victims are the children. Let's get back to the issue. The victims are the children.
The best class I've ever had in my life. It has to be due to Hooked on Phonics. The best investment you could make would be to buy this program. There is no better way to learn, and it's the best investment you will ever make.
We are Hooked on Phonics!
Call 1-800-ABCDEFG.
Now. There's a brand new kind of snack chip with a brand new kind of crisp. Whoa! CC Ricer. There's never ever been a crispy, crunchy chip like this. Whoa! CC Ricer. Just leave it to those elves to lightly crisp some rice. To a crunchy rice chip with a taste that's hot and soft. Whoa! CC Ricer. Crispy, crunchy now. CC Ricer. They're from Keeper. Wow!
CC Ricer.
A change is in the air. New fall merchandise is on its way to Big Sur Waterbeds. To make room, we must sell $15 million worth of overstocked floor model and scratch and dent waterbeds. You'll save 20 to 50%. Hurry for best selection. Big Sur Waterbeds, America's largest.
Kids Beds has over 100 beds for kids. Daybed frames start at just $29.99. This all-wood bunk bed frame is just $99.99. Or this sturdy American-made pipe bunk bed frame is $199.99. Kids Beds next to Big Sur Waterbeds.
Preparing our students for the challenges of tomorrow. That's how Michiana College has been creating success stories since 1882.
The quality of education that I received at Michiana College was excellent.
At my current job, and what they've taught me, I can use specifically on the jobs requested of me.
At Michiana College, we have hundreds of success stories. Become one. Call Michiana College today at 436-2738.
Alita, when should a grandparent not see the grandchild? Give me quickly.
Only if they are alcoholically, actively drinking, drugging, or have been legally convicted of abuse.
Okay, so that just saying somebody's an alcoholic or a drug, that's always an excuse, and
Right.
you have to really have it proved.
Right.
Sally.
I just want to say that I think life is too short, and we all have to learn to get along. It's obvious that the daughter and the mother, in this case, are very close. You can watch their faces and see that. I had a grandmother.
You're extremely wrong, Sarah. You're extremely wrong. We do not get along
Well, you obviously
at all.
care about each other.
I care about her. She's my mother. I love her. But for 23 years...
Why can't you tell him to let us see your baby? You
Excuse me, that's my child also.
Can I speak? Because
I just
don't
want to say
you
something.
It's not him. He's not saying I don't want you to.
Why?
Because for
that I was
23
very
years you
close
owed me.
with.
You didn't raise me. Your sister did.
I had a grandmother that I was very close
What were you
with.
doing? You were
She
jumping from one
practically
person
raised
to
me.
another.
And I think that there's no replacement for grandparents. The parents are too
First, you have
close
to come from getting a mother.
to see a
I have to learn
child.
how to be a mother myself because I didn't have a mother figure.
Grandparents are very special.
I agree with you.
But it's true. There's a lot of things
My mother helped raise my children, and there's no way I could have done it. And the greatest loss in their lives is when she passed on. So I know how you feel. We see it.
My grandmother passed away this year, and it's probably been the most difficult thing. I'm now almost 40, and it's probably been the most difficult thing in my life to accept.
Absolutely, but nobody knows unless they've done it. Yes, sir.
Hi, I'm a grandfather, and I have a granddaughter 17 years old, and I backed off. I backed off because I didn't want to cause grief to my granddaughter or my son.
Was it a great loss to you?
It was a great loss, but I stayed in contact. I didn't want to damage my granddaughter. She's 17 years old now. I've seen her maybe 10 times in 17 years. I flew her in from Ohio each time. And to this day, I get letters from her. I used to call her.
So was backing off the right thing to do?
I think so, because she has to know that there wasn't a hassle between me and her mother.
She has to know that things were okay.
Right. She knows I'm here. And she knows that whenever she wants to, the lines are open, the house is open.
Sally, I think that's the absolute right approach, is that you back off, you keep the doors and the lines of communication open, the letters, the cards, the phone calls, but that you back out of the relationship between the husband and wife. Let them work out their relationship, whether it's good, whether it's bad. The most important thing is that you don't replay from generation to generation the anger and the rage that they have between them and completely cut off. Because
if they're trying to get you, and you don't allow yourself to be gotten, then you can't play gotcha.
That's right.
My situation's a little different, Sally. My son shot and killed my daughter-in-law. And I was awarded custody as the paternal grandmother. Adam was with me for 2 years. But because of a past history of child abduction on the part of the other grandmother, the maternal grandmother, she was not granted custody. She was given visitation, supervised in the beginning. Then they moved to unsupervised visitation. And 1 year ago, they fled with Adam. And I have not seen him since. Adam is being robbed.
Do you know where he is?
In a relationship not only with myself,
parents,
but with every other member of the family on all sides, including grandparents and great-grandparents.
Is what they did illegal?
Yes, there are.
Do you know where they may be?
No, we do not.
Is this a picture?
Yes, this is Adam.
If anyone sees this child, please do call us. We'll take a break. We'll be right back.
I used to spend hours playing with my trucks, dreaming what it would be like to drive a bulldozer, wondering how those guys actually made roads. Now, like father, like son.
Your boy can see how roads are built and how other big jobs are done. In Vroom, a new video series from Time Life.
Hi, my name is George, and I'm using this bulldozer to put in a new road.
You'll meet George, the construction worker, who'll show your boy trucks as big as dinosaurs, machines that crumble stones like cookies, and blasting crews that blast away solid rock.
Heads up!
To make way for new roads. Call this toll-free number now for your first Vroom video, Road Construction Ahead, for only $4.99. Road construction is a big job, and your child will follow George every step of the way.
Now, let's get to work.
Keep your first video, and others featuring big jobs and great big machines will follow about every month. Fire Rescue shows how firefighters and their trucks put out fires and save lives. Clear for Takeoff puts your child next to the pilots who keep airplanes up and flying. Connect News calls it a Tonka-Tyke's dream come true. Parents say it's a household hit. They immediately watched it 3 times in a row. You can't get these videos in stores, so call Time Life now for Road Construction Ahead for $4.99 and let your boy be a boy, just like his dad.
To order Vroom, call 1-800-637-9992. That's 1-800-637-9992. Or send $4.99 plus $3.23 shipping and handling to Vroom, Department 1, Richmond, Virginia 23280. That's Vroom, Department 1, Richmond, Virginia 23280. Or call 1-800-637-9992. That's 1-800-637-9992.
If you'd like to order a video cassette of Sally's show for only $24.95, call Video Archives at 1-800-FOR-VIDEO. For a transcript, send $3 to 1535 Grant Street, Denver, Colorado, 80203, or call 303-831-9000.
This is going to be kind of hard to understand, but I want to talk to you for a second from my own heart. When your heart is broken, there is a way of healthily finding a replacement. There's a wonderful organization called the Foster Grandparents Organization. And all the people we've talked to have such amazing amount of love. And if that's been cut off from you, please don't just throw that love away. Please go and give it to a deserving child that really, really needs it. Thank you all for being with us.
Some members of our audience will receive, and a promotional fee has been provided by...
Aches and pains? Relax. Conair brings you so many soothing, comforting ways to massage them away. Conair, the leader in personal care.
Chonel Flash Finish dries nails in less than a minute. Adds luster as it hardens nail enamel to reduce chipping and cracking. It's about time. Flash Finish from Chonel.
Finding the clues to a murder can be puzzling. Solve the puzzle and you solve the crime. Clue mystery puzzles. Solve them piece by piece.
Has Pauline been able to make up with her daughter and see her granddaughter since we did this show? Well, you're going to find out on Friday on Sally. Don't miss it.